This video is for the floor joist system for the house. So we're obviously going to start out with our footing and foundation completed. And if you look at the instructions, it gives a picture, and the pocket is 9.5, which will accommodate 9.5 foot boards, or 9.5 inch boards, I apologize. And there's 6 inches by 4 inches deep. And it gives details as to the location, which will be at center of each 25-foot interior measurement wall. Okay. It does refer to the layer. So if you're using layers, which is suggested, although not part of the marking scheme, it is suggested that you activate that layer and make sure you're drawing within the layer. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the pocket, which once again is 9.5 by 6 by 4 deep. So we're going to do that on center. So just double check. This is where you might find if there was some errors. This should be 25 feet wide, which it is. So 25 divided by 2 is 12.5 feet. Now in real terms, that's 12 feet 6 inches. 1 foot is 12 inches, so half of 12 is 6. But you can type it in as 12.5 feet. Okay, I'm going to just draw a line so that we don't have to get out that tape measure more than once. So it's going to be 3 inches per side because the instruction said 6 inches wide. Okay. Three inches. And let's go double check that. So that's 6 inches there. Gonna go straight down. 9.5. Let's finish it off with a rectangle. And push that in. 4.5. Okay, there's our pocket. Now you could use the measuring tape on the other side, or if you wanted to, you could just make quick. Use the lines. I'm going to keep those lines there because we're going to be using them later. So that's 9.5. Push that in. 4.5. Okay. Now I am going to extend this line. And this one as well. It's going to enclose that, which is okay, because if you scroll down here, it asks that you create 4 beams that span the length of that basement, and it explains why we have 4, because the span is rather large, and each board is going to be 1.5 by 9.5. It's going to fill that pocket. So if we go over here, so 1.5. Basically, we've already got our center line here, so we've got 3 inches here and 3 inches here. If you divide 3 by 2, it's 1.5. So instead of measuring, we could just use our center line, and we could go from here to here. And same thing here. Okay. And that'll basically simulate 4 different boards. I'm not going to ask that you create 4 different boards per se. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to start at that corner. There's more than one way to do this, so. Okay. Some people might choose to push this over, like so. And then use a pencil to just but I'm not going to do that. I've got the one surface already drawn. I'm going to try and draw the other surface as well. I'm going to get in there, start there, bring it all the way over to here, and that should close everything up. So if I check on the bottom, we should have a board under there, although in all fairness, when I mark it, I won't be checking that particular aspect. And yep, it's all closed up. Okay. I'm also not going to expect 4 lines on the bottom. So 4 lines on the top signifies 4 different boards. Okay, so we've got our beam all complete. Now we're going to go to the next step. So we're going to create the floor system. First thing we're going to need to do to create the floor system is we're going to have to lay down 2x4s, which as we know at this point are 3.5 by 1.5. So there's 2 ways you can do it. Okay, so the one way, which for the most part we've been doing, is we've been drawing our board 1.5 and then so 1.5 and then going over 3.5 and finishing that off with a rectangle and then pushing it, which works great. There's our board. Now you can definitely do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest, now you don't have to, but I'm going to suggest bringing in our lumber pile. So let's import lumber pile. I have it in my downloads folder. Bring that in as a component. And I'm going to drop it down over here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explode this. And what that's going to do, it's going to allow me to pick up each individual component, and this won't be one giant component. So everything's labeled. So I'm going to grab the longest 2x4. Okay, just like so. Okay. Okay, there's the one I want. Okay. Bring it on over here. And the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to make this unique. Okay. And we're going to spin this 90 degrees. Okay. Now I'm going to grab it by the inside corner. And I'm going to drop it down over here. And then I'm going to copy this. And I'm not going to make this one unique, because I'm going to put it in the same location over here. And let's edit the component. And they'll both get the change, which is what we want. And let's edit this component. Let's push pull the end. And let's make it stop right there at this wall. Okay, let's get out of edit component mode. Now we've got two boards that span the length of the wall, and it's really, really important that this sits on the wall, just like so. So the edge of this board is even with the edge of the wall. Once in a while, I'll see someone will have this edge is even with that edge. So basically the board's hanging out in midair, which is, we do not want that. Okay, so just be forewarned. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to the wood pile. Grab the same board. Okay. And same thing. First thing you want to do before you forget is make it unique. So let's just, okay, move that over 90, and we're going to have to move it 90 again. Okay. Now let's grab it by this corner here. Bring it over to intersect with that corner. Once again, reminder, pick it up by the corner, intersect with the corner. Okay. Now let's grab this and copy it over to the other end of our house. Okay. Not going to make this one unique because just like the last board, we want them both to get the same change. So I'm now going to go in and edit component mode. Okay. And we're going to stop at the end of this board. And you now have your base on there. Okay. Now if we scroll down to the instructions, they want us to put a 9.5 inch board. So technically it's a 2 by 10, but as we know at this point, nothing is the exact measurement of what they call it. So let's go over and grab ourselves a 9.5 inch board. So 2 by 10, that's what we want to get. Right here. Make it unique. Okay. Now let's just double check. Just so you know, this is going on the outside edge of this board here, which is our mud sill. It's labeled right here. So we're going to go on the outside edge. So let's pick that up by the outside corner. And let's have it intersect with our outside edge, just like so. Now, some people might ask about overlap and whatnot. Don't worry about that. Okay, let's grab this board. Bring it over here. Okay. Let's edit this. Pull that out. Like so. Okay, let's grab ourselves another board. Okay. Let's just check how we're going to drop this off. So we're going to intersect with this corner, just so we know where to grab it. And grab it by this corner here. I'm not going to copy it. I'm actually going to grab it. It wants to copy, so let's not fiddle with it. Okay, intersect with that corner. And let's bring this board over to copy. Let's intersect with that corner. Let's click make it blue. We're going to edit that component. And I didn't make it unique. See my lumber pile over there? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep going anyway, because I can always grab another board from that lumber pile. So, okay. That's why it's good to be in that habit of always making it unique at first. Okay, so if we go down to our instructions here, it says we're going to draw our joist boards. In our case, we're going to actually copy them that span the frame space 16 inches or 1 foot 4 inches. Okay, so let's do that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to propose a bit of a different way to do it. I know in the past we've just copy, copy, copy. And what we're going to do is we're going to go grab copy. And I'm going to hold the control button. I'm going to go like so. And I'm going to type in 16 quotation marks, enter, and then I'm going to say X 50. Now I'm going to span out. Now what I did was I took a guesstimate how many boards it would take to fill this, and I went with 50. Obviously my guess was quite a bit larger, but that's okay. Because what it did so everything's spaced 16 inches from the beginning to the beginning, or 1 foot 4 inches, which is 16 inches. And then it copied it that many times. And since we got all these extras, you can just, I'm not suggesting use 50, obviously use a smaller number. But 50 is a good bet. It's 46 and change, so if you go with 50, you know for sure it's going to go past. Now right here you end up with like a doubled up board. If you want, you can leave that, that's okay, or you can just delete that out, because technically the spacing, if you go with the math, you're going to end up with a doubled board. That's definitely your call. It's a pretty quick way to do it, and it ensures the proper spacing. Let's go back to our instructions, and we are going to draw a 1 foot thick wall. So I'm going to just try using our lumber pile and see how that works. So what I'm going to do is, let's check out our lumber pile here. So I'm just going to measure how thick of a board is in the lumber pile. So that's a 1/2 inch board. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this board over here, and I'm going to first make it unique. And since it's only a 1/2 inch and we want it to be 1 inch, we're going to edit our newly unique component, and we're going to bump this up 0.5 inches. Okay, so now it's thick enough. Let's bring it on over. And I'm going to grab by that corner and bring it over here. Let's drop it off at this corner. And obviously, It's not big enough. In reality, this is the size of board that they'd be putting on here. And they'd, as you can see, they'd have to do some cutting. But what we're going to do for the drawing purposes is we're going to pretend it's one ginormous board. We're going to edit this component. And we're going to come over here and we're going to pull this. And we're going to stop it right there. And we're then going to pull it the span of our foundation. And we're going to stop it right there. Okay, now as per the instructions, you've got your joist floor and your plywood floor. Okay, now I'm just going to cruise in here really quick because some people aren't quite sure what's going on underneath here. So what happens is our 2x4 left like a little ledge. I'm going to try and go in. See, there's our little ledge. And then all these joists sit on that ledge, and that outside board caps it off. And that's it for the floor joist system.